This is a piece that I actually, back when I thought, oh, I'll be a better writer if I go to school and take a class and all that. So I went to a class and I started, it was at SMU, and I started it and didn't finish it, and then decided I would finish it and put it in the anthology. So it's a little different than what I normally write. I normally write murder mysteries, serial killers, that kind of thing. So this is a little different. And I won't read the whole thing, but I think you can probably get a little bit of the gist. So it's called One More Again. Doug Hartwood sat in the darkened Chevy Impala brooding. Cigarette smoke hung around his neck like a fur collar. He shouldn't be here. He was 4 months out of Attica, and this was the kind of thing that would get him sent back. How did he let Mickey talk him into doing another job? Michelle would be livid. She might leave him for good this time. Take the kids and split for somewhere where a knock on the door didn't make her stomach flip upside down. He hadn't always been this stupid. Back in high school, he held a B average and was captain of the wrestling team. His senior year, he'd been all-state and on his way to Albany on a 4-year scholarship. Then the Imperiolis moved in town and rented the house right next to Doug's. Mrs. Imperioli had fallen in love with his candy corn yellow and orange moms inside the bright red window box on the 2-story home. And Doug had fallen for Donna Imperioli. She was 16 with an adventurous spirit, born of another place and time. She wasn't exactly pretty, but she had the body of a mature woman, and her kisses were like a warm bed on a cold night. They spent hours on her rooftop, watching the clouds twist themselves into different movie scenes, and even more time creating their own. As a high school jock, he'd had plenty of girlfriends, and he wasn't a virgin, but this was different. She was different. So when Donna asked Doug to take her for a ride in the shiny cobalt blue 1967 Mustang they walked by every day on their way home from school, he didn't hesitate. It would be a quick spin around the block, and nobody would ever notice it was gone. But someone did notice, and 6 months after the moving van had pulled up to the Imperioli curb, Doug was in jail for grand theft auto. The owner of the Mustang was a local attorney, high on law and order and consequences. After some lengthy legal maneuvering, Doug was convicted, sentenced to 3 years, and immediately paroled. But by then his scholarship was gone. Donna was gone by then too. Her mother had found another house to love the next town over. Devastated by the loss of his soulmate and status as hometown hero, he embraced his new role as convicted felon. He had earned enough credits to graduate, so he stopped going to school and began stealing even fancier cars, selling them to local chop shops for liquor money. He graduated to full-on heists, robbing jewelers and high-end boutiques. After a good run of 9 years, he was caught and forced to serve out his original sentence plus 5 more years. His lawyer said it was a gift given his early conviction. And that was the start of his official relationship with the New York State penal system and the beginning of his friendship with Mickey. Mickey was a small-time hustler who, unlike Doug's one-time pop, had been in and out of jail his whole life. Somehow he had become one of Doug's closest friends, even closer than his wrestling buddies, who had surprisingly stuck by him after his downward spiral. The problem was that Mickey and prison were hopelessly linked. Every time Mickey got out, he always said he wasn't coming back. However, a few months later, he would return, like the prodigal son, sheepish at first, then ultimately deluding himself into thinking prison child was his fatted calf. But Doug had no intentions of playing Mickey's revolving door game. Now that he was out, he planned to stay out, or at least that was the plan. So what was he doing here? The rattle of the car engine brought his attention back to the deserted office building, and he fixed his eyes on the side door that Mickey had pried open with a crusty crowbar. That door led to a jewelry appraiser's office, which contained a safe with $50,000 worth of diamonds waiting to be appraised or returned to their owners. Doug should have left the moment Mickey put diamonds and piece of cake in the same sentence, but he hadn't, so now he was sitting in the dark trying to figure out the exact moment he turned into a fool. I'm gonna stop right there.